Of all the places that I've had the opportunity to speak, I hold this one in the highest regard. So I'll ask that you forgive me my emotional demonstration, because this means more to me than my limited vocabulary can tell you. I truly do appreciate the opportunity to speak here today. As I look out into the crowd, I see the face of America. I see the face of an America that picked up and went when the country said go. And that's what the veteran does. I want to thank this post for all that they do and every member of it, for what they stand for and what they continue to promote, and for the vital role they play in this community. I would like to thank the CAS ROTC for what they do. They demonstrate all that is great about American youth, and they should be proud of what they do. I would like to thank anyone else that's here that has brought children, because I truly believe that excuse me, that we must educate the children on the need for a public service for Americans excuse me, to be willing to answer the call when it comes, to be willing to understand that America, to be great, has to have a great youth. For America to be great, to continue to be great, has to have a foundation, and this is what builds that foundation. So often we hear so much about what's wrong with America. If you watch the news, it seems like we only want to promote the bad things in America, and there are so many great things. That's why this day in particular means as much to me as any other day in my life. And finally, I'd like to thank each of you for taking the time out to be here today. Your presence here honors those who have worn the nation's uniform. I thank you for that. When asked to do this, I wondered what my comments should be about. I'm not a philosopher, and I'm not a poet. I'm a simple police officer. But I have just recently returned from the beaches of Normandy. And I heard a story about two men from the 501st Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division, Robert Wright and Kenneth Moore. These are two medics that parachuted into Normandy on June the 6th, 1944. For 72 hours of fighting, these two men, although conscientious objectors, they went when their country called, because that's what Americans do. For 72 hours, they patched up wounded people in a small church in Augenville-en-Plaine in France, inside Normandy. These two medics demonstrated the best of America. Not only did they take care of wounded Americans, they took care of the wounded enemy. They posted a red cross on the door of a small church in Augenville-en-Plaine. They even confronted a German officer and said, "You can come in and visit your wounded, but you have to leave your guns outside." They left all guns outside. For 72 hours, they ran and got water from a well so they could treat their wounded. They themselves were wounded. They continued to treat the wounded. Today, the blood still stains the pews of that tiny church where these two medics parachuted in and did their job as they were asked to do. Out of 75 people that they treated that day, only 2 were lost. These two men still live today, and that's the spirit of the veteran, and that's what we are here to remember. So in that, I say, why should we remember this day? Well, first, I believe we need to remember this day because to do otherwise would be an insult to our founding fathers, who ascribed in the Declaration of Independence, where they said they mutually pledged to each other their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to establish this nation. We remember because of our founding fathers, who were led by divine inspiration, committed their life to establishing a nation that would offer freedom to everyone, and that would defend freedom wherever it's challenged. We remember today because of the words of the preamble of our Constitution. It says, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Although not perfect, our founding fathers understood that there was a need. They were divinely inspired to establish a better government, a better way of life. And that's what they did. We remember today because, as Mr. Winston Churchill said, the only thing needed for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing. And that statement's just as true today, and maybe more so than it's ever been. We remember because there are many good men and women who've done much to secure our freedom. On this day, we remember that we have the privilege of gathering here like this because of the service of veterans. We remember because some gave all, but all gave some. We remember today because of blood spilled in places with names like Concord and Lexington, Shiloh, Gettysburg, Allatoona Pass. Names like the Ardennes Forest, Normandy, Kasserine, Pointe du Hoc, the Chosin Reservoir, Saigon, Da Nang, the deserts of Iraq and Afghanistan, and places we've never heard of. Places where veterans have defended freedom when they were called to do so. We remember this day because good people were and are ready to go when called. They're the ones that stand on the wall and say, "Nothing will hurt you tonight, not on my watch." We remember because the indomitable American spirit is what causes us to be leaders across the world in defending liberty and justice. Though we're not a perfect nation, we're still the best on the road, and it's our obligation to instill in future generations the understanding that liberty, to be attainable for the world, America must be the first to go when called, but we must never leave anyone behind. We remember today because we're Americans. We're proud, we're free, we're generous. We remember that it's been the farmer, the plumber, the builder, the lawyer, the doctor that lay their lives aside, put on the uniform and answer the nation's call whenever freedom and liberty are at risk. We answer the call because this is what America does. To all those who have served and are serving, I salute you, and I thank you for your service. May God bless you and your families, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.